Hi everyone, Jackie here with Dan Bishop from Bishop Construction. Hi Dan, thanks for being here.
Hi Jackie, pleasure to be here.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. So today we're going to talk about big commercial jobs and planning for them properly. I'm sure with commercial there's a lot of red tape sometimes, and there's also a lot to consider. You're working with a bigger area, a bigger building, just a bigger project. So planning is probably more essential here than it might be for residential. What do you think?
Absolutely. And one of the biggest problems with large commercial projects is that when a large project property owner, they get a hold of contractors because they have situations. They have projects, they have buildings that need rebuild, they have new buildings to build, they have codes to comply to. And the problem is that you'll deal with contractors. Property owners will have a certain list that they'll try to make up of things that need done, give it to the contractor, and the contractors will process most of that as it's given to them. And sure, they'll tweak it a little bit, but at the end of the day, everybody's following the same format, everybody's trying to give a competitive bid, so they're all coming into a point with blinders on because they're trying to be led around by the property owner, project owner, and they're not really able to really dig in and find the savings for these people. And when you get into multi-million-dollar projects, the savings in things that didn't need to be done, basic mistakes on every commercial project can run into the hundreds of thousands easily, and people don't realize that it's that big.
So one of the reasons that some of these people putting up bids may be running into having those blinders on is because they're so focused on the bid, they're so focused on winning the contract that maybe they're foregoing or missing some things that could potentially, add cost or add to something you may find that may add cost later.
Absolutely, and what normally happens is you'll have these property owners, project owners, they're so concerned on saving money and trying to get the project done correctly that they're not paying attention to the contractors as much. The contractors aren't paying attention to the owners as much. They're all focused on this list of tasks that need to be done. And at the end of the day, if you do it correctly, you could take a third of those tasks right off of there, just because you need to have the contractor or the person with the wisdom that knows how to bob and weave, how to play the game. A lot of times it is just a game with cities and municipalities on what they expect, and you have a lot of people in charge making a lot of costly decisions for property owners that really do not know what they're doing.
Absolutely. And the property owners, they have their sights on different goals and different focuses. So having an expert or someone that can help them manage and figure out, what are those pieces they may be missing or they may be shooting past that can really help them with those major savings or forgo those minor things that can add big costs down the road.
Absolutely.
So what does Bishop Construction do differently?
Well, what Bishop Construction does is we get in, we meet up with the owner, we look at the project, we'll get a list of, we get a common list of projects that need done, and we come back and we'll basically say, well, if you did this, you don't need to do that. If you do this, you don't need to do that. This is how we basically operate. And what I like to do is we'll get a basic budget, we'll get their estimates together, everybody's in a certain amount of money, and I'll be able to look at all the work that needs to be done and say, well, I can do this for that amount of money, and I can save you an estimated X amount of dollars along the way, just because of my knowledge of what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. So in the end, while an owner means well and they're battling over saving $10,000 or $20,000 between bids,
right,
I can be the contractor at the back of the pack who's going to save them another $500,000 and do top-notch work. Not cutting any corners at all, but knowing what to do and what not to do. Because you have a lot of educated minds at building departments, working for municipalities. They're all very well-educated people, but they don't have enough knowledge to know when to say when.
Absolutely.
And just to make sure that they don't put their jobs on the line, they're saying, well, I think we need to do this and this and this extra, when you don't.
when you don't.
You need someone who can see that and make a call on it.
And how long have you been doing construction? You've seen a lot of projects. This knowledge comes from, seeing just about everything there is to see in commercial work, right?
Yeah, I'm pushing 35 years.
Wow.
But in the 35 years, it's mostly been residential.
Mm.
Only recently did I get into larger commercial projects, only because I was amazed at the amount of money that large companies and large corporations waste.
And you had all that knowledge already from your residential work and from your background, and when you saw it in the commercial, you said, I got to get in there and save these people money.
I got to get in there and save these people money, and it's just amazing how much money people can save, and they'll never realize it unless they get someone in that knows how to deal with municipalities.
Absolutely.
And do it safely.
So, guys, call Dan Bishop at Bishop Construction for your commercial project, because you really want to make sure you have the proper planning in place here. Save hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars by doing this. Give them a call or find them at bishopllc.com for your commercial project.